In the near future, crime in South Africa becomes worse than ever, so the government buys a squad of robot police officers called Scouts. These robots are designed by the Tetraval company, and their creator Dion guarantees they have a bulletproof guard key system, meaning only the company can update their software. No hacker on Earth can break into them. Tetraval also builds a huge, remote-controlled robot called Moose, created by Vincent, a veteran engineer who hates artificial intelligence. Vincent believes robots are only safe when a human is controlling them. One day at the factory, Scout 22 is brought in for repairs. The engineer mentions this robot is always getting destroyed on missions. He fixes the broken part, turns the robot on, and Scout 22 arms itself before going back to work. Meanwhile, a group of thieves led by Ninja is speeding out of the city, running from the Scouts. After crashing into a car, they escape and meet gang leader Hippo. Angry over their failed job, Hippo takes their weapons and van, then demands they bring him 20 million in 7 days, or he'll kill them. To prove he's serious, he puts a gun in Ninja's mouth and then shoots one of the thieves. At the same time, some droids locate them and send their position to the police. Scouts arrive in a helicopter as Hippo's men open fire and use explosives. Ninja's team tries to escape in the van, only to discover the keys are missing. The Scouts land and begin shooting, killing many gang members. 2 human officers use Scout 22 as a shield as they push forward. Ninja searches the bodies for the keys. The man holding them flees in a car, but a Scout blows up the vehicle. Ninja shoots the helicopter's engine, forcing it to retreat, then gets the keys from the crashed car. Meanwhile, police try to raid Hippo's hideout, but Hippo fires a rocket launcher, badly damaging Scout 22 before escaping. Ninja's team flees in the van, but America is shot during the escape. The news praises the raid as another victory for the Scouts, and the government orders 100 more. Vincent complains to CEO Michelle because she keeps cutting funding for his Moose robot, but she doesn't care about it. Dion is called to the repair lab, where an engineer shows him Scout 22. The attack fused the battery into the chest piece, making the robot impossible to repair. Dion orders the robot to be stripped for parts and the rest discarded. Back at the thieves' hideout, Yolandi treats America's wound while Ninja receives another threatening call from Hippo, reminding him of the 7-day deadline. They discuss how to avoid trouble, and Yolandi suggests that someone from Tetraval must have a switch that can turn the Scouts off. They search online and quickly discover Dion is the creator. Meanwhile, Dion spends his free time building a new program that allows robots to have artificial consciousness, true emotions, creativity, and human-level thinking. After hours of coding, he finally succeeds and rushes to show CEO Michelle. But she rejects his idea because the company only makes weapons and defense systems. Angry and desperate, Dion decides to steal Scout 22 and a set of tools, including the guard key that allows programming access. He hides everything in his van and leaves the company without being checked because of his rank. But after driving only a short distance, Ninja's team blocks the road. They break the van windows, pull Dion out, and knock him unconscious. When Dion wakes up at their hideout, Ninja punches him and demands he turn off the Scouts. Dion tries to explain that the robots are always active and their software is the only safety feature. Ninja threatens him, but America interrupts after finding Scout 22 in the van. Ninja orders Dion to reprogram the robot for them if he wants to stay alive. Dion warns that the new software has never been tested, but they decide to try anyway. He repairs Scout 22 as much as possible, but the battery is damaged, meaning the robot only has 5 days of power left. Dion uses the guard key to replace the old software with his new consciousness program. Scout 22 wakes up acting like a scared toddler and hides. Ninja scares him even more, so the others send Ninja out of the room. Speaking gently, Yolandi convinces the robot to come out and touch her hand. It says, "Watch," when Dion gives it his wristwatch, its first spoken word. They give it a chicken toy, teach it their names, and Yolandi decides to call him Chappie. Ninja returns and gets angry seeing them raise the robot like a child, kicking Dion and threatening him. Dion begs to stay so he can train Chappie properly. He is allowed to leave only after promising to come back the next day. At Tetraval, Vincent learns the guard key is missing. He checks the system and sees it's installed in Scout 22. The next morning, he sees Dion researching baby learning websites and notices his injuries. When Vincent asks to borrow the key, Dion refuses. Vincent grabs him, threatens him, then pretends it was a joke. After work, he secretly follows Dion to the hideout. Inside, Chappie explores the area, learning by touching everything. Ninja finds him watching the news and says he should be helping the gang instead. He tries teaching Chappie to shoot, but the robot panics and misses. Ninja gets frustrated, but Yolandi interrupts, saying he needs basics first. She teaches Chappie words, and he quickly forms full sentences. He calls America by name, and Yolandi becomes Mommy. America teaches him curse words and threats, thinking it makes him sound tougher. Dion arrives and is upset to see Chappie acting like a criminal. He makes Chappie promise to never commit crimes. Then he introduces books and painting to stimulate his mind. Vincent sees this from a distance and leaves, planning his next move. Chappie practices drawing and makes a perfect car sketch. But Ninja interrupts, throws Dion to the ground, and kicks him for making Chappie soft. He almost shoots Dion, but Yolandi stops him, letting Dion escape. Desperate for Chappie to help them earn money fast, Ninja and America take the robot to a rival gang's territory and abandon him. Believing he is just another police scout, the gang attacks him, hitting him with pipes, throwing things, and even burning him. Chappie refuses to fight back because of his promise to Dion. When he finally escapes, Chappie sits on a rock and pets a stray dog. Suddenly, Vincent and his men surround him. They tracked him through the company system. Vincent hits him with an electronic device, shutting him down. Chappie wakes up later inside Vincent's truck. When he tries to escape, Vincent responds by cutting off his arm. Then he opens Chappie's head panel and removes the guard key, telling him he's not a real person, just wires. Vincent no longer needs Chappie, so he prepares to cut off the robot's head as well. But this time Chappie fights back with all his strength, pushing the men aside and leaping out of the truck. They open fire, tearing into his already damaged body, yet Chappie keeps running. Seeing how broken he is, Vincent decides to let him go. He's useless now. Eventually Chappie reaches the hideout again. Yolandi immediately starts cleaning his wounds and angrily blames Ninja for what happened. America repairs him using old scrap parts, giving Chappie a new arm. That night, Yolandi reads him a story about a black sheep, telling Chappie that he has a soul, something far more important than the mechanical parts that can be replaced. The next morning, Dion quietly buys a gun. Meanwhile, Chappie plays with a doll, imagining Yolandi calling him special. Ninja finds him and apologizes, calling himself Daddy. But he forces Chappie to drop the doll and begins teaching him how to walk and act like a gangster. When Chappie refuses to use a gun, Ninja gets angry again. So America steps in and teaches Chappie how to use a knife, lying that it only makes people go to sleep. Chappie believes him. Soon they teach him shuriken throwing and nunchucks too. Afterward, they paint his body and give him jewelry to complete the gangster look. Later, Ninja wants to steal a car. He lies to Chappie, saying a bad man stole from them first, so they're simply taking it back. Chappie approaches the man and destroys the car, ripping the door off while scolding him for being a thief. He drags the man out and throws him across the street. Ninja and America scold Chappie, not for hurting the man, but for wrecking the car. They give him a gun, insisting he doesn't need to shoot it. For the next few hours, Chappie steals multiple cars. Most drivers run away because they think he's a police scout. When they finish, Ninja and America sell the stolen cars and use the money to buy weapons and video game consoles. While waiting outside an abandoned building where gangsters watch dog fights, Chappie finds a dead dog and another trapped in a cage. When Ninja returns, he tells Chappie these scenes represent life. Either you die or you fight to survive. Chappie thinks he's immortal because he's a robot, but Ninja explains his battery will die soon. To get a new body, they need a huge amount of money. Chappie agrees to help because he doesn't want to die. That evening, they return to the hideout and find Dion waiting. Dion is heartbroken to see Chappie acting like a gangster, but Chappie no longer respects him. He's angry that his creator gave him such a short life. At Tetraval, Vincent uses the stolen guard key to upload a malicious firmware called Genesis into the Scout system. All robot cops across the country immediately shut down, causing crashes, chaos, and helping criminals escape. Chappie collapses too. When he stops responding, Ninja blames Dion and attacks him. Dion pulls out a gun, forcing Ninja back so he can drag Chappie into his van and rush him to Tetraval. Hippo also learns the robot cops have shut down, so he declares the city his. Criminals rampage through the streets, destroying everything. The last scout falls in front of them, and they burn it. At the police station, human officers desperately prepare weapons despite having little scouting experience. Vincent watches the chaos on the news, pleased with his plan. He tries deleting Genesis from his computer to erase evidence, but it takes time. Dion arrives at the lab with Chappie, so Vincent hides. Dion connects Chappie to the system and sees a warning about malicious code. He quarantines Genesis and focuses on saving Chappie. Meanwhile, the deletion fails again. A few moments later, Chappie wakes up with his personality intact. As they prepare to leave, Chappie notices Vincent's giant robot, Moose. Dion explains it's controlled by a human wearing a mind-reading helmet. Chappie also sees an unfinished scout body and begs for it to be his new form. But Dion says no, Chappie is more than data, he has consciousness. Vincent overhears everything. When Chappie angrily says he hates Dion for giving him a short life, he steals the Moose helmet and runs away. Cops begin surrounding the building, so Vincent shuts down his computer but forgets to take the guard key. Dion meets CEO Michelle, who demands he fix this mess immediately. Vincent arrives and lies, telling Michelle that Dion caused the Genesis shutdown and built a sentient robot, showing her the news of Chappie stealing money. She finally authorizes him to deploy Moose. Vincent connects his mind to Moose and sends it after Chappie. At the same moment, Hippo sees the broadcast and decides he wants the robot too. Back at the hideout, Chappie is proud they now have money for his new body, but Ninja tells him that was a lie. Enraged, Chappie slams him to the ground. Dion arrives, warning everyone that danger is coming. He hands Chappie a special weapon capable of damaging robots. Hippo suddenly storms in, demanding the money and Chappie. Gunfire erupts, but the shootout is interrupted when Moose arrives. Vincent crushes America under Moose's foot, ripping him apart. Ninja fires useless bullets at Moose and runs for cover as the robot unleashes a flamethrower. Hippo and his crew shoot too, so Vincent lifts Moose into the air and drops cluster bombs, killing everyone except Hippo, who hides in a pipe. Ninja tries to grab their money, so Yolandi drags him away. Moose then targets Dion, but Chappie jumps in front of him with a special weapon. He attaches an explosive to Moose's body, fires repeatedly, and destroys one of its arms. But before he can finish, Moose shoots Chappie down and he drops the detonator. Hippo returns, and both he and Ninja fire at Moose while Chappie breaks through a wall. Escaping with Yolandi, Hippo continues shooting until Ninja hides. After they damage Moose's camera, Vincent pulls the robot back to fix it. Dion runs to his van but is shot by Hippo. Enraged, Ninja smashes Hippo's skull with a shovel. Chappie drags Dion into the van, but Moose returns, firing non-stop. Chappie runs to get his helmet, but a stray bullet destroys it. Now he must get another helmet from the factory. Ninja tells Chappie to leave with Yolandi while he distracts Moose. As the van escapes, Ninja drops to his knees, willing to die. But when Moose aims at him, Yolandi jumps out with the special weapon and shoots Moose. Vincent instantly fires back, killing her. Chappie reaches her too late. Grieving his mother, he finds the lost detonator and explodes Moose for good. Chappie rushes Dion to Tetraval and finds Vincent. Vincent tries to flee, but Chappie throws a knife into his leg. Vincent reaches the office, firing helplessly as workers panic. Chappie smashes him through windows and walls, breaks his arm, and beats him until he's nearly dead. Still, Chappie tells him he forgives him before leaving. Police surround the building as Chappie takes the dying Dion to the lab. He connects him to the helmet and transfers his consciousness into a robot body. Dion returns the favor by restarting all scouts using the guard key. He uploads Chappie's consciousness into a new robot body as police break into the lab. Outside, Dion is overjoyed to see Chappie revived in a fresh scout body. Together they return to the base and bury Yolandi with Ninja. While the news reports that all robot cops have been banned, Chappie finds the USB containing Yolandi's consciousness test. He hacks the factory machines and builds a sleek female robot body, preparing to bring Yolandi back.